breaking inputs that are just trickling in. This is a statement coming in from the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who's reiterated that UK will not join the US and Israeli strikes on Iran. In fact, he's also gone on to add that the use of British bases will only be used for defense purposes. Starmer said that UK had learned the lessons from Iraq. UK had informed his decision not to get involved in the offensive strikes on Iran. Starmer also said that UK was responding by deploying UK planes and even allowing the use of bases for defensive purposes because of the retaliation from Iran launching strikes on allies across the region. So Starmer defending his decision not to allow UK bases to be used by the US in the initial strikes against Iran, and this in the face of criticism that he faces from President Donald Trump. Notably, the Prime Minister granted permission was on Sunday for the US to use British bases to target Iran's missile launchers and stores to help protect countries targeted by Tehran. But President Trump had said that he was disappointed in Keir Starmer for initially refusing to allow the use of the UK-US Diego Garcia base to target Iran. Let's go across to Mr. Doyle, who continues to be with us. Mr. Doyle, UK Prime Minister making his position absolutely clear when it comes to the use of UK bases, vis-a-vis the strikes being carried out by the US and the Israeli forces retaliating. Talk to us about what you make of this statement that's coming in from the UK Prime Minister.
Well, I think for the first time we really have seen what Keir Starmer makes of this American-Israeli war in Iran. I think hitherto we knew that Britain wasn't prepared to commit forces to that project. We learnt yesterday that Britain would be prepared to defend allies under attack, as well as British forces and interests within the region. But today he said that there are questions over its legality, and also he questioned the lack of planning in it. And I think this brings him into line with British public opinion, and also, importantly for him politically, with his own backbenchers, his own Labour Party members of Parliament. And it obviously is in sharp distinction to the position of the Trump administration. Curiously enough, though, he is deploying precisely the sort of argument that President Trump himself, up to the 28th of December, February, was deploying about wars. President Trump had always said that he was wary of getting involved in long-term regime change wars. And Keir Starmer is actually using many of the arguments that Trump himself has used over the years in opposition to exactly these sorts of wars.
Yes, Mr. Doyle, I'd like to bring in another point here. This is state media in Iran that's reporting Iran accusing US and Israel of attacking nuclear site at Natanz. Is there a cause of concern here?
Well, I'm not surprised to learn that the United States may have been targeting nuclear sites. I think that is obviously part and parcel of the ambitions for the war to ensure whatever is left of the Iranian nuclear program is destroyed. I think there's always a risk when dealing with nuclear sites as to whether there is any environmental fallout from them. So I think that is obviously a worry and a concern. But to be honest, this is probably at the lower end of the risk at the moment. I think that what we are seeing is the way in which that this conflict can spread and metastasize across the Middle East. It can affect the oil and gas markets, the global economy, that it could run, as President Trump has said, not just for a few days, but now 4 or 5 weeks, and it may even be longer. So that, I think, is really alarming for those of us who would like to see a different sort of outcome, a negotiated solution and the end to this conflict, because this conflict is very unlikely to achieve a better future for Iran or a more stable region.
Mr. Doyle, just last thoughts from you on Strait of Hormuz. How significant it is going to be going forward in terms of the leverage that the Iranian forces have at present? Could it be used as a significant bargaining chip if the negotiations do happen, of course, in the days to come between US and Iran?
Straits of Hormuz are vital. I mean, they're 20 miles wide at its narrowest point. So, of course, the Iranian military in its various guises can pose a very significant risk to any tanker traffic that goes through it. And this means that insurance companies aren't prepared to take on that level of risk. And that's what's stopping tanker traffic going through it right now. Let's be quite clear. It's the lack of insurance. So you would need a situation with either it was very clear that Iran was not going to, in any way, shape, or form, attack or block that traffic, or you would need the United States and its allies, Israel obviously at this moment, to be able to guarantee those tankers that it has taken out all the Iranian offensive capabilities that could in any way threaten any shipping in that narrow, vital sea lane. So it is leveraged to an extent, but I'm not sure it's something that is going to be the basis of any negotiations. I don't believe that the United States will stand for it. I think they will focus on taking out the Iranian Navy. That is something that President Trump has said, but it also have to take out the missiles that could also potentially target those shipping in that sea lane.
And the broader point here also being the talks, if they even happen or not, there's a big question mark over that as well. For now, we leave it at that. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.